What is going on, everyone? It is Mark here with another video, and today I am going to be talking to you about the thoughts that I have in regards to the S9 and S9 Plus as you know, an Apple lover. Okay, so a lot of people kind of ask me, hey man, what do you think of the S9 and the S9 Plus? Would you switch? Do you like it? What's the deal here? Because we know you're primarily an Apple lover. Okay, let me clarify one thing. I don't not like Samsung devices. I prefer iOS devices, but that comes from my life experiences with the devices, my past experiences with other devices, and where it kind of led me today is being kind of encapsulated within the iOS kind of realm, which I really like. That being said, Samsung makes great phone. Samsung is on the brink of innovation. They always release great products, always kind of pushing the boundaries of what they can do. Sometimes so far that they make explosive devices, but you know, that's all part of their kind of thing. Push as much things as they possibly can into a device, and hopefully it adapts. So the jump from the S8 and S8 Plus to the S9 and S9 Plus respectively, to me isn't so much a leap, more of an upgrade. There of course are a few things that did change. It's not that big of a step. Does that make sense? So moral of the story is, in this video I'm just going to talk about kind of the differences that I've noticed as a Apple user. First off, I don't have the device, that thumbnail, 100% Photoshop. But in this video, I'm gonna go through some of the awesome features, some of the features that I think are very noteworthy and should be shared, and then kind of my opinion on the overall realm of things, and if I believe people should switch over from other platforms to the Samsungs and from the S8 to the Samsungs. Does that make sense? Maybe. Okay. But yeah, so there are a few things that I do want to note on the S9 and S9 Plus because they are so incredible and so kind of pushing technology in the right direction. And I'm assuming most of the new devices that are going to be coming out in 2018 are going to have to adapt to this new kind of standard if they want to keep up in the whole realm of smart world relevance. Okay, so what you'll notice is kind of from the S8 to the S9 series of Samsung devices, there has not been a very large physical jump. It looks the same, has the same glass back, still has the same size kind of displays, the 5.8 and the 6.2 inch displays, which I think are some of the best looking displays on the market as we speak, and they're kind of the perfect size as well if you ask me personally. And of course you have some of the spec bumps going from, you know, last year's model to this year's model. This year, that includes Snapdragon 845, 4 or 6 gigs of RAM respectively for the S9 and the S9 Plus, 64 gigabytes of storage, which are of course expandable. I know a lot of Samsung people are hating on Apple for that, but I mean, to each his own, right? They have now integrated kind of some of the things from the Note 8 into the S9 and S9 Plus, iris scanner and face recognition, and then the batteries are kind of standard 3000 and 3500 respectively for the S9 and S9 Plus. So those are kind of the spec bumps that you're going to be expecting from this device, and the biggest kind of feature that I want to bring up, and I think everyone in the tech world is bringing up, is the actual camera. So the biggest difference and the biggest game changer in terms of the new devices by Samsung is the variable aperture camera. What that means is that you can have variable aperture. See what I did there? And for people who know a little bit about cameras, aperture, lenses, and all of the kind of science that goes behind taking a photo, you might know what this means. But for people who don't, a variable aperture means that the exposure or the light that is able to come into the sensor can vary. And what that means is you can have a faster or slower photo giving you different results, better bokeh, better kind of the blurry background, that kind of stuff. And that's what's crazy. So the variable aperture that Samsung just kind of released is, let me get this right, from a f1.5 to an f2.4. On average, kind of, I'm gonna say average, but usually a smartphone camera has around a f2.0 aperture. For example, the iPhone 10, where is it? Right here. The wide is a 1.8 and the telephoto lens is a 2.4 or f2.4 and f1.8. So what this kind of allows the Samsung to do is kind of have three f-stops available to you in your use with that device. So that's a very big game changer. I think that's the biggest kind of difference that you should pay attention to these devices. Really quickly, let me go over the S9 really quick. That's a single 12 megapixel camera, of course, the variable aperture. Both of these cameras are optically stabilized, which is very key. So if you're taking those photos, those videos, it's going to be very smooth. The S9 Plus has a dual lens system. One of those being the variable aperture, and the second one being a little bit of a telephoto, 2x telephoto with an f2.4, I believe. f2.4? Yes. Again, another feature that's very impressive is the super slow motion. So it's 960 FPS in super slow motion. That is crazy. What that equivalates to is 720p quality, but realistically on Instagram, I believe this is what this is the kind of designed for, but on Instagram, it's gonna look crazy, very interesting. A lot of people, you're gonna be seeing this, it's gonna be very, very, very used. I would use it. If I'm gonna buy one just for this feature. That's a lie, I'm not buying one just because of one feature, but that is an awesome, awesome feature. Another aspect of the camera that I do want to point out is the new HDR mode. It takes 12 stills and kind of merges them together. Usually it's 9 or 3 or 6. This one's 12, which is fairly impressive. But other than that, there's some minor changes that I do want to note. Fingerprint scanner in the right spot this time. Not beside the camera, but underneath, so it's a lot easier to get to, and you're not gonna get as many fingerprints on your camera kind of lens. And they have 4 new colors, or I guess it comes now in 4 colors. The lilac purple, the coral blue, and the silver, and depending on what country you are. Those are the 4 that were released now. So the real question is, should you upgrade? Depends on what you have. If you have something other than Samsung and you like their devices, I would say absolutely. If you have an S8 or S8 Plus, I would say no. If you have any device that kind of supports iOS and you're embedded in the iOS and Apple kind of realm with a Mac, multiple Macs, an iPad, Apple TV, I would recommend no. My experience when I switched to the Google Pixel a few years ago, last year, when was that phone released? A few years ago, and the biggest thing that I was lacking, that phone is amazing. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the communication between all the other devices that I had with my phone. So it was missing that kind of, it just didn't know what was going on with the other devices, and I really did not enjoy that. Hence why I switched back to the iOS, and that's why I'm rocking, you know, iPhone 10. So let me know what you guys think of this video. I know I kind of clickbaited you guys into here. I apologize for that again, but at the end of the day, you know, I do want to talk about it. I want to share my opinion, and unfortunately, I'm not big enough to get Samsung to send one over, or to buy a brand new phone if I'm not gonna use it. So I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, please hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons down below. And of course, if you could please follow me on all my social media. Links can of course be found down in the description. But for now, thank you, and I will see you on the next one.